The way I look at it, you do something that you shouldn't do, and you do something where you deserve to have a hit on your head, you should be green lighted regardless. I don't care if you're from the West Coast or the East Coast. I don't give a damn where it is. I feel like you should be dealt with if you cross the line or do something that leads to that. For this video here, we're going to be talking about the differences of the West Coast and the East Coast when it comes to putting a green light on somebody. So sit back, get your popcorn, and enjoy this real spill. Let's do it.
Haha, Dom the best. Finna be this way till I EOS. Take it how you want, nigga. Yeah, I'm a pro. Fuck around and bust your lot while you're at Vizzo. I hate to be this way, but I live for the moment. Waking up every day, show me an opponent. Shanks on deck, hitting bitch with locks. So much pool, I can even start you from the box. You don't wanna pay rent, got me bent. Got lax on deck, your money was well spent. Vultures on the prowl, so don't try testing. Step 2, cause violent first steps finessing. You a hold down man, suitcase this. My cell phone, I'm a charger, don't walk with a limp. Get it knocked off or missing, you gon' get it. Next time I see you ass, you gon' leave airlifted.
What's up, y'all? You already know, man. K-Fraud TV back in the building. Y'all go ahead and do me that solid favor, man. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And also make sure you hit the notification bell so you can see it first. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm going to let y'all know straightforward at the beginning of this video that this video right here wasn't even the video that I had scheduled to do today. But I felt like dropping this one due to the simple fact that I had somebody jump in my gaming channel the other day and was trying to like press Florida, you know, like throw shots at Florida, I guess because the way it is down here on the East Coast, you know, compared to the West Coast. You know, they kept trying to compare the two. You get what I'm saying? And I told them straight up, after going back a little bit with them, I said, you know what? I'm going to jot it down and I'm going to do a video about this, okay? And what the whole scenario and situation was, the fact that Florida lets people who have pedophile charges or messed up charges, chomos, or PC people walk around. They don't do that on the West Coast, apparently. Okay, now, way I look at it is, I'm going to break it down from the East Coast perspective and the West Coast perspective. First thing first, you cannot compare the two because they are two totally different places. You understand? Anybody who gets locked up from the West Coast down here on the East Coast is going to have problems. And anybody who gets locked up on the West Coast that's from down here on the East Coast is going to have problems. You understand? I'm not going to be biased about the situation at all just because I'm from the East Coast. You understand? But for the most part, one of the major differences from the West Coast and the East Coast is paperwork. Okay? They check paperwork on the West Coast. They do not check paperwork down here on the East Coast. You get what I'm saying? And if you need your paperwork on the West Coast, you can literally get your paperwork from the guards. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like they'll help dash out the paperwork to have you being dealt with, if you got to be dealt with. You get what I'm saying? So it's like you're doing the dirty work for the guards at the same time, compared to how it is down here on the East Coast. Down here on the East Coast, they're not going to give you the paperwork because it's for your own safety. You understand? So you can't really look at it like Florida's the issue when that's how the systems ran down here. You get what I'm saying? If they allow you to have your own paperwork on the West Coast, then that's different. You feel me? But it was deeper than just the whole paperwork situation, okay? But it was more about green lights, all right? So that's what made me want to do this video about the green lights, all right? So if you got bad paperwork, of course you're going to get a green light on your head, okay? That doesn't matter if it's on the West Coast or on the East Coast. You feel me? But the only difference is I guess on the West Coast, everybody will be after somebody who's, you know, like a PC, you know, or a check-in or something like that, because everybody will know who they are. Everybody will know their paperwork, will know their background. You get what I'm saying? That's you know, understandable. But down here on the East Coast, nobody knows who's got what or anything unless they got into a situation right then and there. You feel me? Or unless they were already in the situation and then word traveled, you see? But it's not like they come in and you off rip already know. Unless it traveled from their last camp. You feel me? Now, what made me speak on it was the fact that, okay, if you came here and you're on the East Coast and you got dirty paperwork, you're going to be able to go through your bid with no problems until that paperwork is brought out. nobody is going to physically force you to show them that paperwork either. You get what I'm saying? Word of mouth. Someone will come there that knows you or just happen to be looking you up, or people will start shit and dig on their own. It isn't like you're going to come there and off rip they're going to know. Look at how many people make it through prison being a rat, you know, having sex charges and different things like that, you know. So it just shows it's a different atmosphere. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that when someone's green lighted that they're not dealt with. You understand? So the way I look at it, for the person that was commenting to me about it, was saying when somebody gets green lighted, they get dealt with on the West Coast. On Florida, on the East Coast, they don't. Which, that's how they look at it from being from the West Coast. But it isn't like that down here. Down here, it's just when your ass is green lighted, you're dealt with, and they flip you and you get put into another institution. You know what I'm saying? You get stabbed up when you're green lighted, and then you'll get transferred. And then when you land somewhere else, word done traveled, you're going to get stabbed up again and get transferred. And you're going to get transferred after getting stabbed. After getting stabbed, it's going to go around. That shit might follow you your whole bid. So you're going to get dealt with everywhere you go. You understand? The word is eventually going to catch up to where you are. It might be as soon as you land there, people stab you up because the word got there before you. Or it might be the opposite. It might, you get there and you think shit's sweet 4 or 5 months, maybe a year, and then word gets there and then you get stabbed up again, you get transferred. You understand? But the way I looked at it was like, you can't talk bad about the East Coast due to the fact that not everybody's going out of their way to attack somebody who has a green light on them. You understand? It isn't everybody's problem. It isn't everybody's, you know, pride in them to just attack this person because he's green lighted. I'm going to be real with you. If I got thousands of dollars floating around on the compound and there's this dude's green lighted by the Bloods or the GDs or something like that, I feel like that's their job to get him. Right or wrong. If you got a green light on you from an organization, it's either that organization or the other organizations that that organization's affiliated with to get you. You understand? I don't believe it should be everybody's duty. Oh, we're going to green light him and then the whole pound wants his head. That right there just seems like boredom. That just seems like for someone to go get themselves in something that has nothing to do with them, you really ain't got shit to stand for on your own. That's how I'd look at it. Because if you had thousands of dollars floating around, if you got cell phones and different things and you're making bread, making bands, and this ain't got nothing to do with you, and you go and you get yourself involved, you literally ain't got nothing to do. You're just being a follower. That's how I looked at it. You feel me? Now, another thing I'll speak on. When the person was saying that, oh, yeah, well, you know, when someone's green lighted, man, they get dealt with. They can't go nowhere. They're not safe. Yada, yada, yada. In Florida, they're safe. No. In Florida, they're not safe, but they're not separated. You know what I'm saying? So then that's when I went to saying, I feel like a lot more people may get green lighted on the West Coast and have a lot more people after them. You know what I'm saying? At the time, because everybody wants their head when they're green lighted, right? But I feel like it gets dealt with more on the East Coast. And that's just my opinion, which means if you're green lighted on the East Coast, I feel like you'll get caught quicker than you will on the West Coast. And I'm going to break it down and let you know. Just because the West Coast gives out more green lights doesn't mean they're getting the job done more than on the East Coast. Let me explain. On the West Coast, they have PC prisons, prison yards meant just for PC inmates. That just shows how many people have green lights that get away. You understand? Look at that from that angle. We don't have PC prisons over here. We have cells they'll put PCs in, and then when they get transferred, they're not on a PC bus or in a PC cage in the bus. They're with GP, general population. You get what I'm saying? But to have a prison yard filled just for PC just shows how many people get away with the green light. Think of it. Another way to look at it. They got the 2-5ers on the West Coast, which is a PC dropout gang. In order to be a gang, you got to have numbers, correct? That means that they're deep enough of people with green lights on them to form an organization, basically, to be a 2-5er. We don't have PC gangs down here in Florida on the East Coast. You see what I'm saying? And it isn't that the East Coast is worse, you know, or better than the West Coast. But it's kind of like, for instance, let's break it down this way. I'm from Broward County. Our tri-counties is Broward, Dade, and Palm Beach, okay? Dade County makes 2 times more arrests than Broward County. But Broward County has 2 times more people in prison than Dade County. So what that means is, when it comes to the East Coast and the West Coast, that just means the West Coast hands out more green lights, has more people after them, but they get put on PC, get put in PC camps, become the 2-5er gang. So now it's a whole squad of PC people. You feel me? So a lot of them are getting away with it rather than getting dealt with. You see? So you just got to ride it out a little while with your green light, you know, on the West Coast. And then when you hit the streets, you're straight. You feel me? That's how it seems, you know, from the way that the person was breaking it down and explaining to me that how they got their own PC yards and their own gang, the 2-5ers. You think about it. They got a prison big enough to house straight PC inmates. That just shows you how many inmates are getting away with a green light on their head on the West Coast. Now down here, on this side, on the East Coast, we don't have that. You feel what I'm saying? You PC up, you're going to get put in a cell, and then when you get transferred, you're no longer PC. As you're being transferred, you're on the bus with people. And then when you go to your next camp, they're going to put you in the box until you get it signed off by the warden. Once the warden lifts that PC thing, you're back out there in the wolves. You get what I'm saying? With or without a green light on your head. You see what I'm saying? So you got a green light on you, and you get transferred to that next institution, throw them back out there. And then that's when the, got you again, boy, got you again. That's how it works down here. You get what I'm saying? In Florida. There isn't no PCing up and got a green light on your head, and now all of a sudden you get put in a PC camp for the rest of your bid. So the only people you got to worry about is other people on PC. All y'all are wanted by somebody out there. That's what y'all all have in common. You feel me? But you're surrounded by them. You get what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure there's people that will PC up on purpose on the West Coast, just like there is on the East Coast. I've seen it with my own eyes. People that will PC up just to get put closer to somebody on PC so they can get them. You feel me? But on the East Coast, green light or not, your ass gets wanted by a gang or organization, no matter what it is, you get stabbed up. You'll get transferred, and next place you go, you're going to get put right up back out there. You see? So that's why it's like, there's things that are up and down on both ends. You feel me? That's why I won't talk strictly good about the East Coast or talk strictly bad about the West Coast, because both places are totally different. You get what I'm saying? And I was trying to explain that to the individual that I was talking to this about. You get what I'm saying? That it's different. You see what I'm saying? Just like on the West Coast, I heard that, you know, when they got to bring shit on the yard, like contraband and stuff like that, it's known to boof it. It's known to suitcase it on the West Coast. If they got to bring shit on the yard, it's known to swoop and bring it out there. It ain't like that on the East Coast. See, on the East Coast, people who boof and suitcase, we look at them a little funny. You know what I'm saying? That's how we look at it. Yeah, you got some gangsters that, you know, suitcase if they have to, but 9 times out of 10, people ain't volunteering or wanting to be a suitcaser unless you're a hold down man and you're scared and these people are forcing you to stick that shit in your ass. Or unless you're a sissy. You feel me? That's how it's looked at over here. People got other ways to bring contraband on the yard. You see, so it's like, I don't blame someone on the West Coast, you know, to look down upon people on the East Coast. You feel me? Because they were raised that way. To them, that's what they think is order. That's what they think is law and what is correct. But on our coast, what we look at is different. So what's normal to y'all up there, we look at it like some fruitcake shit. You see? But we're not saying, oh yeah, the West Coast is nothing but fruitcakes. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, it's hard that, you know, prison is obviously everywhere, you know, and that's why, like, I try to make it known when I speak in my videos that I'm speaking about Florida prison. So for anyone who's locked up on the East Coast, most likely is going to be able to relate to the things that I'm saying. You feel me? Especially if you've been locked up in Florida. You go what I'm saying? Now, if you're from the West Coast, my videos most likely are going to help you see what the difference is from where it might be where you're at. You get what I'm saying? Some things might be kind of the same, but not everything's going to be the same. Just like if you went to the same exact prison I went to, it might not be the same because prisons rotate. They flip pounds all the time. So not everything's going to be the same. You feel me? But I want people to understand that. You know, when it comes to comparing both coasts, when it comes to people getting green lights put on their heads, you got to understand there's a difference. You get what I'm saying? You get a green light put on your head down here in Florida, your ass is still out there in that jungle with them wolves no matter where you go with that green light. You see? And all that can happen is you get stabbed up, scared for your life, you almost died, got to get surgery, outside medical, and then they're going to bring you back and keep you away from people for a while till you heal up, and then they're going to transfer you around, and then they're going to throw you back out there. It isn't like you get stabbed up or you get wanted, that you are out of sight away from everybody for the rest of your bid. No, it is not like that. So if you think about it, don't you think they got more of a chance of being harmed on the East Coast than on the West Coast? If there is no PC camps, there isn't no gang for dropouts, there isn't no institutions meant just for people on PC, because they got away. You see what I'm saying? If you think about it, until somebody else lands there where they are to take care of them. But down here, yeah, we don't check paperwork like that. But whether your paperwork's good or bad, you get dealt with. So once your paperwork gets found bad, you're going to be getting stabbed up every institution you go to. It isn't going to stop after the first time and you get put away and you're protected the rest of your bid. You're going to get moved around. And everywhere you go, people are going to be stabbing you. People are going to be after you. I feel like that's a harsher bid. Literally, that's how I look at it. Think about it. You don't think that's a harsher bid? People want your head, you just PC up, check in, you drop out, you get put in an institution where you may have to still worry about the inside beef with the other people that are PC'd up, or worry about someone fake checking in or coming there and coming after you, you know, but it still takes out a big portion. If this is how big the prison system is, you get put on that PC yard, screw. Look how much you just cut off. You ain't got to worry about all that. You only got to worry about what's where you are. You feel me? And y'all check paperwork on the West Coast. You see? So it kind of like just forces a lot more people to be on PC, make it to where the PC places are big enough to house just PC people. Big enough to form a dropout gang. On the East Coast, there isn't no paperwork check. So if you got bad paperwork or not, even if you got good paperwork, you still can get put in bad situations and get dealt with no matter which institution you go to. I personally think that'd be a harsher bid. I personally think it's harsher worrying every single place you go, are you going to be stabbed again? People are trying to stab you because they know you got stabbed before and your paperwork's following you, rather than cutting out a percentage and knowing for the most part you got a smaller area to cover and watch your back at. That's how I look at it. You get what I'm saying? But then again, like I said, there's certain things that I could be, you know, missing because I'm from the East Coast. But never forget, for the people on the West Coast, there's certain things that y'all are missing too when you think about the East Coast. You see? That's why I want to come on here and try to break it down the best way I can. You know what I'm saying? Because I got respect for the East Coast and the West Coast. You get what I'm saying? I fought with both of them. There is no difference to me. You know, to me, they're both fucked up in their own kind of way. You get what I'm saying? Just because I'm from the East Coast, I don't want people on the West Coast to think I'm talking bad about the West Coast. And I don't want people on the East Coast to think just off rip, oh yeah, he's disrespecting the West Coast because he's from down here. No, I'm letting you know that I respect both. I understand both have things going on. You feel me? And if you look it up, they say both of them are just as bad. So you get what I'm saying? So you can't take nothing from either or. You feel me? But at the same time, I'm only one person. There's thousands of y'all. You feel me? So I gotta like word things the right way before a couple out of the 1,000 try to flip my words and tangle shit around. I just want to speak on how it is with the green lights on the East Coast so y'all know it's different than it is on the West Coast. You feel me? Because people want to always compare it. You got people on the West Coast that will think the things I'm saying are lies, or it's not really like that because they never been to prison down here. You see? And then it's the same way, the opposite. You got people on the West Coast that will drop content, and people down this way look at it like, man, he's full of shit, bro. Hell no. But really what it is people are comparing it. You see what I'm saying? This video right here is one of those videos where everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Whether you're from the East Coast or the West Coast, just understand the way that I'm trying to break it down when it comes to the green lights. I only know the green light ways from people on the West Coast about the West Coast. You get what I'm saying? I don't know that from my experience, but I only know from me doing my research and homework about it. You understand? But I do know from experience, and it's facts when I speak on the East Coast. So you can't say what I'm saying is not legit if you're from the West Coast because you never did time down here. You get what I'm saying? And you can't expect me to know everything about the West Coast because I never did time up that way. You know what I'm saying? But if you're somebody that did time on the West Coast or on the East Coast, when it comes to green lights, all right, this is what the video is about, green lights. Drop it in the comments and explain. There ain't got to be no arguing with nobody, you know, no back and forths or anything like that. Just let people know how it is through your experience, you know. Is it hard to catch somebody once they PC up? On the West Coast, once they get put in one of them PC camps, when they become a 2-5er and all that, is it harder to get them than it is, you know, if they were just on the pound? Or do you think it's more dangerous for them to be stuck in GP, general population, on the East Coast with bad paperwork? You know, like, drop your opinion, because believe it or not, I say this all the time and it's the truth. The comment section plays a major key. You feel me? If I don't respond to your comment, doesn't mean it ain't seen. There's other people that will comment under your comment. You know what I'm saying? And I just want people from the East Coast and the West Coast to just basically get a little bit to figure each other out. You know what I'm saying? I want the West Coast people to explain a little to the East Coast, and I want the East Coast to explain to the West Coast. Just so that way people understand it from both ways. You know what I'm saying? You can't always feel like one's better than the other just because you never been there or you're from here. You get what I'm saying? That's what this whole video is about. But I wanted to let y'all know the difference between the green lighting. See, you got way more people getting green lights put on them on the West Coast. Way more people. But there's way more people getting away with it also. They check paperwork. So of course, we don't check paperwork, they check paperwork. So the green lights, of course, the numbers are going to be way higher. You feel me? But the number's so high that they got prisons meant straight for PC people. People who got green lights on them. You see what I'm saying? Down here, people get dealt with anytime it gets brought up. Anytime, it's not like someone's a green light and nobody does nothing about it. They still get dealt with. You feel me? But it's like, not everyone's going to be after them because they're green lighted. If somebody's wanted by the Bloods in Florida, the Bloods are going to go after them. Or someone that the Bloods want to pay, or a gang that's cool with the Bloods, maybe they're tied in at the time, they'll go after them. Or another gang who feels like that person's a threat just being here will go after him. You get what I'm saying? It's not like everybody goes after them. It's mostly the gangs, because all the gangs have that in common. You feel me? Like they feel like if he's told on this person, all the gangs are going to feel like they all got at risk with this individual, so they'll all go after him. That's how it works on the East Coast. You get what I'm saying? But you're not going to have every single person that sees one want to be after him to where he can't live somewhere. No, it doesn't work like that down here. Down here, they want them to keep putting them on the compound so that way they can get stabbed everywhere they go. You got people that will go to prison down here on the East Coast for 3 years. Say they had a 3-year sentence. And as soon as they got there, someone found out about their paperwork and they were green lighted. within them 3 years, if they got transferred to 11 institutions, that means they got dealt with 11 different times in order to get transferred around like that. That means that was 11 different times people tried to kill them. You see, to me, that's more harmful. That's more, you know, of a scary situation and a harder way to live than to just be placed at a PC institution and become part of the 2-5er gang and only got to worry about the people that are on PC now. You see, I feel like you'll always be transferred to a PC place where people go that are green lighted. You see, so it's different. You can't compare the two, you feel me? But if you look it up, they're both just as bad. If you look up what's worse, East Coast or West Coast prison, and you'll see it for yourself that they're both just as bad. That's why I want to come on here and speak on it the most respectful way I can, because I know I got supporters from all around the world, from both sides. You understand? I actually got more support from people on the West Coast than I do on the East Coast. You feel me? But that's how it is. You understand? You're going to get most of the love from people from where you're not from. Even Boosie said it before. You know what I'm saying? The people who hate you the most are the people closest around you. You get most hate from where you're from. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't got no hate like that, you know, other than like people who know me. You feel me? But as far as like people who don't know me, it ain't nothing but love and nothing but support. And I appreciate that. And I don't care where you're from, whether it's the West Coast or the East Coast. For all respects, everybody the same. That's what it is. Straight up. But anyways, like I said, y'all drop y'all's opinion in this comment section, alright? I appreciate y'all watching. This right here, let people know how it is about green lights on the East Coast, trying to compare it to the West Coast. Anyways, man, y'all already know, keep them rats, squares, clowns, chomos, pedos, gunners, wannabe island boys, clout chasers, hating ass people from YouTube, lying ass motherfuckers who be just straight miserable, hating life. You know what I'm saying? Keep them out your circle, man. Until next time, this the one and only. I am my team, Frog.